Greetings, Guardians, and welcome to our Twitch channel. The live stream will begin in just a matter of moments. This is an audio check so that we can properly adjust our levels and so that you can too. If you can hear us and you're in chat right now, please sound off with a hell yeah. The stream will begin at the end of the countdown.
There's been a development on Mercury.
And you think Osiris might be involved?
I I predicted many things, but I never saw you.
Hello, and welcome to the first in our series of 3 streams about Curse of Osiris, the first expansion for Destiny 2. I'm Deej from Bungie, and I will be your host for today's conversation and playthrough. And I'm joined on the couch, in the hot seats, by 2 of the 4 developers that I'll be introducing you to today. We are joined by Christine Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, as well as Dave Matthews.
Morning.
Glad to have you both here. The focus of our show today is the new story that we are telling in the Curse of Osiris. We will be talking about the places you'll go. We'll be talking about the characters that you will meet. First, let's introduce our audience to yourselves. Christine, talk to us about what you do at Bungie and what was your contribution to this expansion.
I started as a writer at Bungie a couple years ago. I worked on live events, Rise of Iron, the Destiny 2 campaign. For Curse of Osiris, I am the narrative lead, which means I am coordinating all of the teams working on the story of Curse of Osiris. I work with the writers, our narrative designers, audio, cinematics, and work with Dave and Dan Miller, our design director, and put it all together and make the story.
So that's a unified approach all the way from the major themes of the story that we're telling, all the way down to the flavor text that goes on a weapon.
Everything.
And Dave?
Yes.
Morning.
Morning.
Talk to me about how long you've been at Bungie, what you've been doing since you joined us, and what was your contribution to what we're about to take a look at.
So I've been at Bungie for about 8.5 years. When I first joined, I used to work with the characters and hard surface teams, so weapons, vehicles, all the combatants, as well as all the gear that you had. And as time has progressed, I've worn a few other different hats, including creating large spectacle moments throughout the game. And in Curse of Osiris, I'm acting as the art director.
Awesome. Well, with those introductions on record, we'd like to introduce you to some of the characters that you will meet in Curse of Osiris. Spoiler alert, if you have not finished the Destiny 1 campaign, we will be discussing some of those details throughout the course of this conversation. And if you want to start playing this expansion unaware and completely ready to discover new things, you will be learning some things about what we have in store for you. So it won't hurt our feelings at all if you evacuate the stream right now and join us in the game on December 5th. Yep, hear no evil, see no evil. With that said, we'd like to introduce you to the man himself, Osiris.
Ominous rocks, killer robots, people in mortal danger. Seriously, aren't you tired of this?
Fatigue is a distraction from our purpose. As are complaints.
Oh, I haven't begun to complain yet. Ouch! Ugh! Now I'm complaining.
Focus, Sagira.
Reach for the sky, big guy.
La facility!
Need help? Again?
I've got it, thank you.
Well, Osiris. What did you see? Slow down. Wait. I thought No, shh! Go! To your left! 2 o'clock, medium range! You're welcome! You know, I can't help but notice that even with all of reality to explore, you keep picking the places where they shoot at us.
We can't stay here. If the Vex succeed, it's the end of everything. Sagira, we can see your light. You have to go.
Nope, not leaving you. Without me, there's no coming back.
If I don't stop the Vex, there won't be anything to come back to. I'm doing this for the both of us.
Don't you even... Osiris!
So there's a preview of some of the cinematic content that we'll see in Curse of Osiris. Just a couple of comments from our chat right now. Osiris has a fidget cube. Osiris has a named ghost.
Osiris has a named ghost.
So he's a special guy. First question, point of order, why is Osiris in the Vault of Glass?
Not technically the Vault of Glass.
Okay.
Osiris is in a place called the Infinite Forest, which we'll talk about more during this stream. It is a reality engine the Vex use to simulate all of the aspects of reality that they can touch, because they are looking for something specific. They are looking to brute force reality and find the thing they want. And Osiris is there looking for it too.
Pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if we could do that. If we could take a look at all of our eventual realities.
And pick out the one you want.
And pick out the one you want. Like, no, don't major in that. He's traveling through the Infinite Forest. We will take a look at the Infinite Forest on this stream, but probably experience it from a gameplay perspective on the next stream when we talk about new activities. Talk to me about the story that we're telling, though. What are the main themes of this narrative?
I mean, when we first started talking about what we wanted the expansion to be, we wanted a mystery, we wanted adventure, we wanted something that would take you from planet to planet. We also wanted to start digging into some of the questions in the lore that have been there that players want to know about, like who is Osiris? This is a name you know from Destiny 1 and the Trials of Osiris and Grimoire cards, but you don't really know about who he is or why he does what he does or where he's been. And also the Vex, we've had a lot of hints about the Vex having some sort of greater plan, but what is it? What do they want?
And what's the timeline for Curse of Osiris? When does all of this take place?
This is, okay, spoilers for D2. We won the Red War. This is a few months after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, a few months after we won the Red War. So we're keeping up with the world of Destiny in real time. At the end of the Destiny 2 campaign, there is a reawakening of the Traveler. A pulse of light spreads out across the solar system, and that has repercussions.
As players saw at the end of the game, that wave of light goes all the way across the solar system and beyond. And one of the things it touched was Mercury. Now, the Traveler waking up and that wave of light was actually an essential component for what the Vex want to do. They were waiting for it. So now that wave of light has come across Mercury, this gateway has activated, Vex are coming out of it, this plan is being set in motion, and at this point is when Ikora knows she needs somebody to look into the situation, and Ikora turns to her friend, the one who brought her back from Io, and says, I need your help. I need you to look into this.
Okay. Pretty deep meta question from chat, from Rhino. How do we know the Red War wasn't a simulation?
How do we
know that this stream, that this life that we're living right now isn't a simulation?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon.
But if it is a simulation that feels this real, does it matter whether or not it's real?
Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to finish this stream and then I'm going to go have lunch. And I don't care if any of it's fake.
Yep.
The Matrix is telling me this steak is juicy. Moving right along, I want to talk about the characters that we will meet on this journey. Let's begin with Osiris. We've got a slideshow put together, and these faces are far more interesting to look at than ours. So let's share some screen time with Osiris. Talk to me about this character and what we did to sort of reach past all of the conjecture and theorizing on the part of the players who may have followed in his tracks to the lighthouse.
Sure.
And bringing him to life, as it were.
So early on, when we talked about Osiris, Osiris, take a step back. Osiris, we've talked about Osiris for years within the studio, and this was our first chance to really put him front and center and show just how much of a badass he is. And I mean, we just saw like what he's capable of doing with like Dawnblade, and like that's ridiculous. But we wanted to get into the notion of how he is as an exiled Vanguard leader, as he is the greatest warlock that's ever lived. All these things, plus what he's been doing, his obsession with the Vex, why he's on Mercury, these are all things that we brought into how we came up with the aesthetic for him. Real early on, we made the commitment. We wanted to make sure he was Middle Eastern, and he's actually even voiced by Oded Fehr, which is freaking great. And if you look at the character and you go back and you take a look at the trailer that we were just showing, and you start to step through it, you're going to notice a lot of clues about like chronology and how Osiris continues to work with the gear that he currently has, and when he was exiled, what he took with him.
There's a good look at his. There's a good look at his gear right now.
Absolutely. If you take a look at it and you start to kind of sweep through it, you're going to notice right off the bat those bracers. Those bracers look a lot like bracers of old, but clearly something's changed. And this is obviously to like exemplify the notion of him exploring the Vex and learning what he can do to modify and take Vex technology and make it his own.
And when you are exiled from the tower, you can't go back and decode your engrams.
No. But before his exile, he was a powerful figure in the tower. I mean, he was essentially their commander,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
He was Zavala before Zavala.
Yep. So some of the other themes that we definitely are leaning into, absolutely we want to lean into like Egyptian mythology.
Yes.
So you're starting to see like even around like the neck bangle or even the headgear, we're starting to like tease out some of those aspects that are definitely Egyptian. All these things that pay homage back into like that mythology of just how great of a character Osiris is.
Shout out to one of your peers. This is a piece of concept art created by whom?
Ryan Gitter.
Ryan Gitter. Awesome work, man.
Mad
Thank you,
artist.
Ryan. And then this view of Osiris's gear is, this was what, the cinematic model?
Right. This is the model that we just saw in the prologue that we were just looking at.
Yeah.
This is our high-res cinematic model. So this is where we get to see all of the small, fine details that are there. We also have the in-game model that you're going to be able to see at some other point, and I'll leave that as a secret.
Okay. Yes, as indicated, we've got 3 streams, including this one, before it's time to play. So there'll be a lot of opportunities to dive deeper into all the different aspects of Destiny that brings players to the game.
I was going to say, perfect timing.
Perfect segue.
So one of the other things that's also great about being able to take Osiris and pull him out of the tower and then have him be exiled and move forward is his ghost and what his ghost looks like. So this is Sagira.
Yes.
I don't want to steal Christine's thunder because this is a really special moment for us. So I'm going to let Christine talk about Sagira.
Super, super excited about Sagira. She is the first ghost that you hear in the franchise other than the player's ghost.
Yes.
She's the first female ghost. She's got a name. She's got opinions. She has a lot of opinions. She sometimes thinks the Guardians, including Osiris, take themselves too seriously.
No.
So it is a lot of fun looking at the world through her eyes.
And when we reach Sagira in our timeline as players, she has been, as we saw at the end of that prologue, sort of lost.
Yes.
And we mentioned that Oded Fehr plays Osiris. Who is the voice of Sagira?
Marina Baccarin.
From
Firefly.
From Firefly.
And
Gotham.
and Homeland. And
Deadpool.
Deadpool. And everything.
Awesome, awesome talent to bring into the story. And this image comes from what?
This is one of the shots that we are previs for some of the prologue, and as you start to look at her, like we really wanted to pull out some of those sassy aspects of the character and bring that into the visuals.
Yep.
So you'll see her not only as the shell itself, but then also in her performance and how she interacts with Osiris.
Can 1245 says another Firefly star. Bungie's got a Firefly fetish.
We're trying to collect them.
We're basically
It's like
collecting
trading cards.
every cast. We're getting close. Osiris was once a teacher, a mentor, a commander in the tower, and Osiris's favorite pupil, teacher's pet.
Ikora Rey.
Yes, my own favorite Vanguard, Ikora Rey, makes a return to this story. From an art direction standpoint, you haven't iterated on perfection.
Nope.
Her armor and her character is as we remember it.
Right. The only thing that we've done is, as we start to see a little bit more as the story unfolds, we want to make sure that her performance shows a little bit more of the softer side of her. And I'm sure Christine is happy to talk about that.
I'm happy. You know, Ikora, her last Fender performance at the end of the D2 campaign, she says, if losing my light was a test, I think I failed. So now that the Traveler is awake and she has her light back, as do all the Guardians, I want to put that one to rest. She is starting to explore what she needs to be and what she needs to be to become better. And part of that is exploring who she is besides just a weapon, besides just a Guardian, besides just a leader. And that's exploring who she is as a human. And that means having a friend. She hasn't had a lot of friends. She hasn't had a lot of people she can trust. But the player is one of those people.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if Ikora had a favorite pupil, he's also got, well, maybe not a favorite follower. I don't even know if Osiris knows he has followers.
He knows, but, you know, he doesn't like the celebrity aspect.
Okay. We've seen Brother Vance before. Even if we never participated in the trials of Osiris, this was a person who held vigil in the reef and trained people to perhaps, you know, help fight to find Osiris someday. Brother Vance plays a prominent role in this expansion.
He does. He is in. He's in our social area, which we will get into in a little bit. But also, Vance is a little different from the one we saw in Destiny 1. If Vance in Destiny 1 was somebody who was hoping to someday maybe find the right Guardian who could go and bring back this person that he's studied and learned about and wrote about and, you know, but never really met. Vance in Curse of Osiris is like a guy who knows that he is the gate is open, the signs are coming into place. He is going to see Osiris on Thursday afternoon and it's Tuesday, and he is so excited. He doesn't know what to do.
This is the second time throughout the course of Destiny that somebody who has trained you in the Crucible gets to step to the forefront and say, what you have been preparing for has come to a point, and it's time to get down to real business. Interesting. And of course, we have some new destinations. We're going to go to new places where we will encounter these characters. Let's jump into that. Of course, we are going to go to Mercury.
To Mercury, of course.
So this image is what we call a postcard. Yes, this is sort of the touch point. This is basically the artistic keystone that influences all of our design when we build a new world.
Absolutely correct. When we're thinking about a new destination like Mercury, we come up with a variety of pillars of a phrase or a word that tries to encapsulate what we're trying to achieve there. And one of the big ones that we have for Mercury is mystery. We teased it and we showed a little bit of it. You had a glimpse of it when you were in the lighthouse back in D1. And everybody always wanted to understand what it was like to be out there. So as you start to look at this concept and the other locations on the present version of Mercury, we use that as a way to look for to create mystery, to create wonder, to create a sense of discovery of what's around every corner. We use that as our guiding touchstone for how we look at our environments, how we create the landscape, how we create the props that exist inside of it, lighting, environment effects, all those things come back to that guiding picture.
Christine, in terms of the chronology and the lore, Mercury was a lush garden world.
Yes.
And then the Vex show up and ruin everything. So they've turned this into their own machine world, essentially, yeah?
They've hollowed out the core of the planet, and that is something we're going to talk about why they did that.
Okay, and that's one of the mysteries that we'll solve. And then this is obviously an in-game view of that environmental landscape.
Sure. Just a piece of Mercury right here.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing is that's the gate that actually takes you to the infinite forest, and that's something that Christine was talking about just a couple seconds ago.
Yeah. Their reality engine.
Their reality engine. So this is an opportunity for us not only to be able to, as a player, to be able to see Mercury on the surface and where we're at right now and today, but then also by venturing through the gate, you can start to explore the mechanisms that is the machine, and then also past, present, and future of Mercury.
So this is a concept of the infinite forest. This piece of concept art was created by who?
This one is also Ryan Gitter.
Ryan Gitter, hard at work making awesome stuff for us. Thank you, Ryan. So this is their reality engine. These are their machines. This is essentially how they jump through time and space and look at every possible eventual outcome of everything that they do.
Right. I call it trying to find the equation for the future. Yeah.
And then once we look at it in-game, this is sort of a jumping off point, and then you can make your way through that landscape. As the Vex move through this space, and as they tackle every different possible reality, what is that? How does that manifest itself physically in that environment?
So, great question. Fabulous question. One of the things that we wanted to make sure early on, when we're starting to think about how we want to interact with the Vex and get into their lore, their ecology, we want to be able to expose players not only to the present Vex that they've seen and they've fought against for quite some time, but this now is an opportunity for us to dig deeper into the precursors and the descendants, which are also going to be facing in Curse of Osiris. This landscape that you're also seeing, I think it's really important to talk about how the gameplay unfolds inside of the Infinite Forest. It's the way that we built it. It's the first time you play through this mission, you'll run through it and you'll experience certain foes and certain objectives. And if you were to run through that mission again, odds are that space is not going to play out the exact same way. The space is different. The enemies that you may face is different. Right. Would you say that this is procedurally generated? Absolutely not. No. So this is lovingly crafted, very intelligently assembled in a way that we can create new and unique experiences every time you come into the Infinite Forest. Yeah, and we've always art directed every square foot that you've encountered. Every decorator, every plant, yes, every budding flower. But this landscape has different combinations of set pieces and enemies to fight, so it gives you a lot of different infinite combinations for experiences. Hence the Infinite Forest. Hence the Infinite Forest. And as we move through this space, we can also experience the Vex manipulation of time. It's my understanding that we can show future Mercury. We can totally show future Mercury. Okay, so this is the Mercury of the future. What are we looking at here? So this is dark. This is deep into the future. We call this. We refer to this picture as the dark future. Okay. This is where the sun has gone dead. What you see in the foreground there is the lighthouse. After like a tremendous amount of entropy, there is no life on the planet. The only thing that remains is Vex.
There's no life anywhere. No light, no dark, just Vex. Just Vex. Just nothing to light the way, but just a sea of red vexed eyeballs. Right. This is a piece of concept art created by? This is by Dorje. Dorje Bellbrook. Man, stellar. Wonderful, wonderful work. And then this is what it looks like inside of the game. Right. That's the lighthouse in the dark future. So it doesn't look the same. No, it's certainly. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's completely just busted down. And good segue. The lighthouse in the dark future is not a hospitable environment. No, it's not. But the lighthouse of the now, which is really what this is all about, is different than we may have remembered it. Yep. It looks like it's a little bit more hospitable to company and visitors. A little more lived in. So let me tell you a little bit about it. First off, did you manage to make it in Trials of Osiris? Did you make it to the lighthouse? Shout out to Pope Bear and Anbu. They took me to the lighthouse
Once. Once. I was not hired for my thumb skills. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've managed to make it there.
Yeah.
My fire team's been my two boys,
Okay.
Alex and Griffin.
Yeah.
They managed to help me get there.
Yeah.
They're better players than I am.
No, it's good of you to give your sons backpacks. Yeah.
Boat
And
anchor, hang on to
Christine?
them.
I've seen YouTube videos of people who made it to the lighthouse.
And I'm sure there are many people watching this stream right now for whom that has been their only exposure to the lighthouse as well,
Yeah.
is YouTube videos.
And PvP, I am a target.
Well, we're all targets in PvP. It's just a question of how hard a target are you. But for everyone watching and everyone who will play Curse of Osiris on December 5th, you're all invited to the lighthouse. As you said, Osiris's followers are very anxious about the signs pointing toward his return, so they've thrown open the doors and lit the candles.
And they're ready for it to happen.
So for us, like this is a really big deal for us to be able to have everybody get a chance to go to the lighthouse. This is an opportunity for us to pay off what people have only dreamed about going to. I want to call out real quick that this is the space that you're going to be able to start a lot of quests. This acts as like the hub for most of Mercury.
Okay.
You're going to start a lot of your missions here. You're going to want to kind of resolve some of your missions here. There's a lot of mysteries within the lighthouse for you to explore. And there's a few people for you to interact with.
Well, I have a controller in my hands, so let's go there now, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right. We break net live, and we are going to the lighthouse, and here we are. So as you can see, if you've been to the lighthouse before, it is a changed environment.
A little friendlier, you can't fall to your death.
That's very kind of you. Yeah. We've kicked out some carpets, we've lit some candles, and this is a functional space. I am armed with a weapon, but I mean this gentleman no harm.
The scent of ozone. Come closer, warlock.
So much like our interaction with other in-destination vendors, Brother Vance has assumed a functional role as somebody who will guide us and reward us.
Absolutely. He sits within the lighthouse, much like Failsafe, and Devram.
Yes, and others.
And there you go. And this will be an opportunity for you not only to learn a little bit more about Vance, but then also how Vance sees Osiris and his eagerness for his return.
And we can see here that Vance has his own engram.
Yep.
And the levels have been raised.
The levels have been raised. Player level is up, we're bringing it up to 25.
Okay.
And your light level will go to 330 as a soft, and 335 if you got your mods.
Okay. Very good. And we will be taking a look at all of the gear that you'll be able to pull out of this engram in the third stream in the series. Although, for the time being, I figure there's no harm in me showing off the Warlock gear that you'll be able to add to your collection. And this dresses me up as a proper follower in the Order of Osiris. I'm looking Egyptian and badass myself right now. And just to take in a little bit more of the space here, we can see that Brother Vance is very much the scholar, very much the seeker, if you will.
A little obsessed.
Just a little. Or a lot.
We prefer the term captivated.
Yes.
And the entire space has been redressed.
We want to make sure that we want to tell that story visually as well, that not only has Vance come back, but then other followers of Osiris have started to come back as well.
Yes, we got a gathering of his followers right here. And these two fellows right here, near and dear to my heart. Look at that, they're exos. Looking mean fellows. This is a place of study. This is a place of learning. These guys have more books than the speaker. Is that too soon?
Maybe.
So the gate there is live. We'll go through there in just a moment, but there's more to look at here in this space.
Sure.
As I move through slowly and deliberately, like a cinematographer. Here's something I'd like for you to tell me a little bit about, Dave, but I think when we have Dan Miller, the game director for Curse of Osiris, in the hot seat next week, I think he can give us a little bit more context. What is this installation right here?
So this is basically a tracker or a history marker for some of the optional activities that you're going to be able to have as a player at the end of campaign.
Okay.
If you actually look at your hand cannon that you got in your hand right now, That's actually one of the destination-themed weapons. That is like basically the notion is older weapons that Osiris has grabbed, taken, and modified using Vex technology.
Yeah.
You actually have an opportunity to go and adventure for the ability to forge these types of weapons.
Okay.
And that object that you're looking at right now, that actually shows you the markers of all the different ones that you've been able to create to date.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of glyphs or runes or some sort of holograms here that are active, and each of those nodes represents a different weapon?
Absolutely does.
And I will acquire these throughout the campaign, after the campaign? How does
after
this
the
work?
campaign, and it's all optional quests that you can do as a player.
And so each one is represented by a quest?
Yes.
And I can see here that you seem to have hacked into some Vex technology and wired it into this installation over here.
Yep, we call that the Forge. That's actually where you'll take all your elements and you bring them together and you're able to forge these weapons.
Look at that, we're worse than the Fallen. Okay. And then as we move over here, we can see that, as always, the lighthouse has a lovely view. And you'd mentioned before that there's always been a player curiosity to leave the confines of this space.
What's on the surface,
and
yeah.
explore
See what's out
beyond.
there.
See what's out there. So this is a good opportunity to satisfy that curiosity. Destiny has always been about exploring.
We should go through the gate.
We should go through the gate. Here we go. So we're going to see what's on the other side. And here we go. We are going to visit Mercury for the first time. Welcome to Mercury. As you can see, I have a fire team waiting for me. Right here, we have a Titan dressed similarly in some fabulous.
This is our destination theme gear.
Okay, so this is the gear that I'll earn by playing the campaign and being a willing combatant, and then.
And there's my favorite. I play Hunter.
Oh yeah, we playing favorites now?
Well, then we have to have another warlock.
I'm all the warlock you need today. So they know the rules. If I'm going to sit in the chair and hold a controller, I get to be the warlock. All right.
So this is our public space. So this is the space that exists in the present time. This is where public events will occur, lost sectors, all the things that people have loved to find and explore on EDZ and other places inside of Destiny 2. We offer all the exact same things on Mercury as well.
Okay. And I can see that the Cabal are paying us a visit.
Mercury is the closest planet to the Almighty, and there are survivors after the Guardian went and kind of wrecked the place.
Yeah.
So they have come to Mercury.
All right, let's see what else is on Mercury. Gentlemen, if you lead the way and take us on a walking or perhaps even shooting tour of the environment.
It is a bit of a hot zone, so be careful.
All right, weapons hot, fangs out. You are green to engage. Let's see what they got. Yeah, like as you promised, we got some Cabal stragglers through here. You'd mentioned that we're going to find all the things that make a Destiny destination what it is. You'd mentioned lost sectors. Obviously there are chests that we can open up. Public events.
Public events. We have this is a pretty big deal for us as well. We have a bespoke public event. It is handcrafted for the space and integrated into the public space.
Okay. A rather big public event, from what I've heard.
It's our largest to date.
Probably want to watch out.
Yeah, watch out for that Vex milk.
Radiolarian
fluid, please. Yes, come on, come on. You're sitting next to your narrative. You got to be on point here, man. As they have engaged the enemy, whether we like it or not, we've stepped into a war with the Cabal.
If you take a peek, take a peek, and if you can not get shot at the same time, but if you look up over to your right, not only will,
let's see, let me get a bird's eye view.
Yep.
Let me go up.
That's a lot.
There you go.
Keep me safe up here, boys. I'm trying to lead a tour group.
So not only are we this is again right after the campaign of D2.
Yep.
So the Almighty is out there in the horizon.
Yep.
And then if you look up there, that is actually the lighthouse.
Yeah, we can see the lighthouse from the outside for the first time. And then very close proximity to our sun. And what remains of the Almighty is still in the skybox.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Great opportunity to get a tan.
Yes, exactly. Or get burnt to a crisp. So I'm going to jump down here. We will continue our reconnoiter. I'll let my buddies take point. as I always do.
So what you're starting to approach now, that's the gate that allows you to enter the Infinite Forest.
Okay.
And ultimately explore all the different times that have the capstones to the past, present, and future.
Awesome. And you'd mentioned the lost sectors before, but in keeping with the themes of mystery, my understanding is that you're not necessarily marking those on the map.
We're not going to show them on the map until after your campaign is all complete, and give you an opportunity to find them all on your own without any assistance.
This is usually how I enjoy PvP, through the grace of my fire team. Thanks, guys. There we go. I'll help. I helped. Oh, we got a man. Oh, we got 2 down. Need a respawn. Don't wipe. There we go. All right, let's move along. I'm going to speed through this environment. We're going to go up to the gate to the Infinite Forest.
Yeah, and again, early on, we want to make sure that anybody that played PvP maps down on Mercury, that all this stuff felt familiar. And if you harken back even to like Black Garden days, some of the statues and things like that, we want to pull that idea and those concepts forward, and make this place feel familiar, yet unique and full of mystery.
All right. We'll take one last look at Mercury. And then we are going to go through this gate, which will bring us into the Infinite Forest. I am now deep within the planet of Mercury.
Yes. The Infinite Forest is pretty much fills the core of the planet. The Vex came in, they took it over, they hollowed it out, and they built this, and they keep building.
From an aesthetic perspective, it was a goal of ours to make sure that we could create something that felt like it's sit outside of time and space. So we come back and look at that postcard, and now that you're here, boots on the ground, actually looking at space, we wanted to make sure it felt surreal, it felt dreamlike.
Well, as my fire team forges ahead, I'm going to park right here, just so that we can take a look at the destination.
Sure.
We can see some of these different installations here.
We call those trees.
Okay.
The Infinite Forest has to have trees.
A forest needs trees.
And what would the Vex consider a tree?
And you can see that there's sort of a different aesthetic for some of the different trees. This one's pristine. This one is not.
That one is not. These are all different trees that allow you as a player to go to different times. So as you, like the one on the right that you were just looking at, that will take you to the future, to the dark future. The one that's just slightly off to the left, that's going to take you to another version of the past, to the present, and then the one that's pristine that you're looking at right now is deep in the past when Mercury was a lush garden planet.
And that is one of the things that we are leaving for player exploration. We're not going to show you Mercury of the past today.
Not yet.
By your command.
Please,
and,
thank you.
You can see we are, in fact, inside the planet. There is no sky here, only the natural ceiling of the planet's crust, I guess you would say.
Mantle, maybe?
Mantle? The crust? I really needed to pay more attention in geology, but I knew that wasn't the best possible future for myself. So much like the Vex, I made a command decision there. Fantastic. Well, I am going to take us back to orbit. I'm going to abandon my fire team, and
they'll be okay.
They'll be fine. Yeah, I wasn't much help to them anyway. So I'm going to return us to orbit, and we are going to move on to the next portion of this stream. So I'm going to thank you so much, both of you, for joining us on the couch and talking to us a little bit about the story. Hopefully we didn't reveal too much. Hopefully we have created that sense of curiosity so that you can jump in and you can discover these things for yourselves. This was a good teaser, I hope, and a
little taste of things to come.
Yep.
That was the goal. So I appreciate you both joining me on stream today. We are going to refresh the couch. We're going to bring 2 more developers onto the hot seat. But before you go, one more time, Dave Matthews, art director.
Thank you.
Christine Thompson, our narrative lead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us. You are free to go, as they say. And I'm going to do an inspection of the director right now while you get back to work, and we welcome 2 other developers onto the hot seat.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So let's take a look at the director. Let's open this right now. Just want to give you a brief tour of some of the different things that you can expect to find as part of Curse of Osiris. The first thing that we will take a look at is the strike menu. As you can see here, the Heroics Strikes playlist, is coming back. Great source of cooperative fun with yourself and 2 friends, as well as a good source of rewards. You can also see that we do have a Mercury destination that we're adding as a node to the director. And thanks to the almighty, Mercury does not have all of its structural integrity. It's been devouring the planet as fuel. Thankfully, it takes a long time to devour a planet, so there's enough left for us to explore. I also want to take this stream as an opportunity to answer what has been a question since the original reveal of Curse of Osiris at Paris Games Week. We have made the promise of new raid content, and there have been a number of questions as to what exactly that means. And to answer that question, we have brought onto the couch 2 other members of our team. Stuart Monsky, this is your first ever Bungie stream.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you, man. We'll adjust our levels and make sure that our audience can hear you. But I'm glad that you could join us on the couch and meet the community that has been playing the raids that you've worked on.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We've got a bunch of cool stuff to show them today.
Cool. And Brendan Thorne, you're no stranger to this environment. We actually had you giving some developer commentary on a raid-along on streams past, but it's great to have you back.
Thanks, good to be back. It's always fun.
So before we take a look at the director and before we answer some of the burning questions about new raid content, talk to me about what you do at Bungie and what has been your contribution to what we are calling a raid lair.
So I'm a senior designer on the raid team, and I do encounter design, and I'm also the lead on the very first raid layer we're doing for Curse of Osiris.
Okay, and that's what we'll be talking about today. And then Brendan, for those that may be meeting you for the first time, albeit virtually, what is it that you do at Bungie?
I read Reddit a lot. No, I work on raid encounters and develop bosses.
Okay, fantastic. So let's take a look at the director again. I'm going to open the Leviathan menu here. And as we look at how this menu has changed, what we can see is that the original raid is still a component of the experience, of course, but we've added a new node. And this is what we're calling a raid lair. The Leviathan Eater of Worlds is the name of the activity. If you could, summarize for me, what is a raid lair?
A raid lair is a brand new 6-player raid activity. In this raid lair, we're going back to the Leviathan. It's an entirely new set of encounters, new puzzles, new loot, completely new places to explore. You got to remember this ship eats planets. That's how big this thing is.
Big place.
Lots of different places to explore. And then we have a brand new final boss for you to fight.
Okay. And then we also have the original raid. You can see here that the recommended power for the Leviathan is now 300.
We're bringing everything up. We want to make sure that we have a variety of raid content to play. We don't want to deprecate anything.
So if you're a Guardian that's reached your maximum potential, this becomes a challenge that you can enjoy again and again and again. If you're a Guardian who decides to join us in Curse of Osiris and you're looking for new challenges, you're taking us back to the Leviathan, and we get to face a new bad guy.
Yep, and it doesn't matter if you've completed the Leviathan main raid either. You can play this anytime you want.
Separate activity, requires 6 players. What is the scope of a raid lair if you were to try to size it up?
So it's not as lengthy as the original Leviathan, but there's still a boss and then all the challenges leading up to them. So it's going to be a pretty sizable addition.
Yeah, and it's no less challenging or less fun than any other raid we've made. This raid is a ton of fun. We've been playing a lot internally. It's extremely challenging. You're going to die a lot.
Okay.
You're going to die a lot.
That's the challenge? You're going to die a lot, Guardians. So hopefully that challenge is accepted. So let's see. What else can we say about this? We guide the Leviathan. We will also guide the raid lair. With your permission, I'm going to launch this activity.
Let's do it.
Sneak peek.
All right. We'll take a look at that. Before we go down, if we survive after dying a lot, what are we going to earn?
New armor, new weapons, new cosmetics, all at a higher light level.
Okay.
Yep, and we should also note that you mentioned we're bringing up the original Leviathan raids, so those rewards are going to get brought up as well too. So you're going to have a variety of raid content to pick from each week. Some nights you might feel like a longer raid, other nights you might only have time for raid lair.
Gotcha. Okay. And then let's see. Will there be a prestige mode for the raid lair?
We're going to have a prestige mode. It's brutal. The sandbox difficulty is way up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very,
you're going to
very
die a
hard.
lot.
You're going to die a lot. Okay. So talk to me about what motivated the team. Actually, let's come back and I want to take a look at this one more time because there actually is something that I failed to call out here. Let's take a look at the menu one more time. What motivated us to handle raid encounters like this?
Well, we wanted to make more raids, number one. We enjoy raiding the whole team raids together. We wanted more stuff to do.
Yep.
And we thought we could make a whole bunch of new encounters, new mechanics, new puzzles for people. We wanted to make new bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes down to variety. We wanted a variety of encounters, like more puzzly raids, more sandbox-focused raids, and we also wanted to have variety in the amount of time commitment because, like you were mentioning earlier, sometimes it's hard to get a full group of 6 people together for 3 hours or so,
or however long. So in the first year of Destiny, ever since the first year of Destiny, we've seen one major raid a year.
Yep.
But in the first year of Destiny, we obviously had the Vault of Glass, and then in the first expansion, The Dark Below, we had Crota's End, and then in the House of Wolves, we had
Prison Builders, but no raid.
But no raid, which was an interesting moment. With this, I can see that we have a node here that's blank. What are you going to fill that with?
That's, excuse me, that's going to be the second raid layer, and it's going to be an expansion too.
Okay, so we will have an additional raid layer added to the game with expansion 2. We're forecasting that for spring, if you're keeping track. This enables us to create content that raiders can enjoy more frequently, like you said, giving them more variety of activity and making sure that we are satisfying that urge, satisfying that, that hunger for challenge and dying a lot more frequently. Okay, so as promised, we're going to launch this activity. So we now take you back to the Leviathan. If you're a hardcore raider that wants to go in blind, again, spoiler alert, I'm not going to show you how to play this raid, but I'll give you some sense of the first steps that you might take in this activity. And you guys, have you been play testing this activity with Team Velveeta?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Team Velveeta they are the best of the best we have at Bungie, and we use them sort of as our metric. They're a lot better than the raid team.
Yep.
So we try to balance around.
Better than some of us.
Yeah, I suck.
So here we are. If you're a hardcore raider in Destiny, this environment is not strange to you. We are aboard the Leviathan in orbit around Nessus, and this planet-devouring machine, this space-faring killer of worlds, is a big place.
Yeah.
Takes a big place, takes a big ship to eat a planet.
Yeah, and so far we've only been to the palace on the top of the ship, and this thing eats planets. There's a lot of different places that we can go, and so we thought, hey, let's go back to Leviathan. We've got more stories to tell. We have totally new places to go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go somewhere else this time.
Yeah, you still haven't been down below. You've seen a little bit under the city, but that ship is massive.
Into the belly of the beast, as it were.
Yes, the original name for it before we named an achievement that.
Okay, so now we are going to investigate the Eater of Worlds. In the original raid in Destiny 2, we did this ascent, and where are we going this time?
You're going down.
Yeah, down into the belly, like you said.
So
we don't want to show too much. We can maybe take them in the door, but
all right,
not too much further than that.
In the immortal words of Kevin Flynn, That is a big door. And I'm going to park it right here. So this is, if you are a raider and if you are ready for new challenges, this is what awaits you. You'll open this door, you'll descend into a brand new raid lair, and we'll see what awaits them. Will you guys be piling into our theater to watch as people undertake this for the first time?
Always.
Yeah, it's a party every time we do it.
Yeah, it's great. We love it.
When will this go live? Will this be live to the first fire team that can finish the campaign and dive in, or are we going to illuminate a starting line?
It's going to be a starting line. As always, we want to treat the competition with respect.
So we'll shoot the starting pistol, we'll spectate, we'll cheer for the winners.
Yep.
All right.
It'll be shortly after DLC launch. I think we'll talk about the exact date later.
Okay. When we're ready to tell you about the exact date, we'll set those expectations. We'll give everyone an opportunity to fire team up, get prepared, and rush out there in an attempt to grab the trophy and win some glory for themselves. Anything else you want to tell our community about the raid lairs?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Certainly not.
It's
Certainly not.
completely different. I can't wait for people to see this.
This is actually more than we've ever said about any sort of raid context or any sort of raid engagement prior to the launch of a thing, but with Destiny, we always seem to be breaking the mold for the player experience and introducing different ways for people to experience content. So this one felt like it needed a little bit of explanation, so here we are. If we've brushed up too close to this, sorry. We did invite people to evacuate the stream, but you know, we wanted to satisfy the curiosity as to what raid lair. That is lair, not layer. That is L-A-I-R. That's a question that was asked right now in chat. I'm not being pedantic. That is a raid lair, similar to a dungeon or a realm or
place where a boss lives.
Get
a
out
boss's
of my house.
lair.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, this and other trials and challenges await you on December 5th as part of the Curse of Osiris. It has been our pleasure to host you on stream today. Stuart Monsky, Brendan Thorne, obviously I'm Deej, I've been your host, and I hope that you will join us next week. We'll have Dave Matthews back along with game director Dan Miller, and we're going to take a look at some of the different activities that you will play in the Curse of Osiris, including the biggest public event you've ever seen in Destiny, as well as a live fire exercise through the Infinite Forest. If that feels like more information than you need, we'll see you on December 5th. Otherwise, we'll see you in a week, and then a week after that to take a look at all the gear that you'll be able to earn in Curse of Osiris, or even as any player of Destiny 2 as part of Season 2 of the experience that will continue to refresh with different things to do and different things to earn. Thank you so much for watching. See you again in a week.
Ominous rocks, killer robots, people in mortal danger. Seriously, aren't you tired of this?
Fatigue is a distraction from our purpose, as are complaints.
Oh, I haven't begun to complain yet. Ouch! Ugh! Now I'm complaining.
Focus, Sagira.
Reach for the sky, big guy. Need help? Again?
I've got it, thank you.
Well, Osiris. What did you see? Slow down. Wait. I thought Oh, Go! To your left! 2 o'clock! Medium range! You're welcome! You know, I can't help but notice that even with all of reality to explore, you keep picking the places where they shoot at us.
We can't stay here. If the Vex succeed, it's the end of everything. Sakira, we can see your light. You have to go.
Nope, not leaving you. Without me, there's no coming back.
If I don't stop the Vex, there won't be anything to come back to. I'm doing this for the both of us.
Don't you even... Osiris!